Welcome back to This Week. I'm pleased to be joined by Fran Bush, former Metro School Board member, owner and director of Model Kids Learning Academy and 2 satellite campuses providing child care services. Welcome. She is also a candidate for mayor of Nashville. Welcome. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
You've been in the political trenches, running for school board and being on the school board. You know what it's like. What tells Fran Bush, this is my time, I'm the right person now to lead Nashville?
Well, as you mentioned, I was a current school board member for Metro Nashville Public Schools, served over 80,000 students. Even though I had my own district, you still serve the entire district because you have to make decisions based on the budget, infrastructure, things like that. So I did the good work over in the education realm. And it was some tough moments, and it was moments that you had to make tough decisions and hold people accountable, right? And because of my work on the education side, I saw my very own city that needed that type of work. And I decided at that time, after I ran for re-election, that this transition was to go and put the energy into my city and do that kind of work that I did for our education system.
Being on the school board, you know the importance of success relying on relationships. You have to have good relationships to succeed. As a mayor, you're going to have good relationships with your voters, with the Metro Council, with your commissioners, with the state of Tennessee. How, as a new mayor, do you rebuild the burned bridge between the state and Metro so that the mayor's authority remains intact, so the city council's, Metro Council's authority remains intact, and the city of Nashville's authority remains intact?
Yeah, and you know, to your point, that's one of the things that I have learned and I have been very good at is building relationships and being able to do that. What I've seen on the state level and the local level, it has not been even any type of conversation to work together, right? So everything on the legislature level, on the state level, it trickles down to our local level, right? But then we don't have any say-so because we're not having those conversations and we're not building those relationships. My goal is to make sure that we do that. I want to have a seat at their table, right? I want to be able to have the conversation and be able to listen and hear that senator or state rep or legislature. I want to be able to have that type of conversation because I do believe that we can meet in the middle. We're not going to always agree on everything, but at least we should start building that alliance with Metro and state.
Relationships are important, so is trust. How do you build trust as a mayor with the citizens of Nashville when trust among citizens of politicians is not high right now? What do you do? What do you say to them in actions and in words that say, I'm for you, I'm working hard for you, and to build that trust?
Absolutely, and I think a lot of thousands of our families have seen that trust over in the education realm that I was in. Parents got behind me, and as a leader, they pushed me to make tough decisions for their children. So I have built that type of trust and relationship already in the city. I was the most decorated board member who was interviewed more times because you guys believed and trust that I was being very transparent and being very fair and making sure the work is being done. And I just believe that those thousands of families, staff, members, they have seen the work that I've done and they have fully trusted the work because it was intentional and I had a plan and progress was made.
There's a lot of good about Nashville, a lot of great things taking place, but there are some challenges, transit, education, homelessness. If in your first 4 years as mayor, you could only really make an impact and maybe solve one particular issue, what would that top priority be? Affordable
housing. I say that because, of course, we're seeing in this city how expensive it is. If you come to Nashville, it used to be you come to Nashville and say, hey, I want to come to a great city. I can afford to live here. I can raise my family, that kind of thing, come and work. And now it's like, take a pause before you decide to come to Nashville. You have to afford to live here. And that was not the case. We want to continue to bring good people here, absolutely. But we want to also sustain the people that are already here. We want to be able to support affordable housing. And I have a plan to get that done.
It's an expensive problem. It's going to take a lot of money, going to take a lot of resources. Private industry has to help as well?
Absolutely. My goal is one of my plans is to work with builders. All right. Now, I'm also an HOA president. I've been an HOA president for over 21 years. And so I have been able to build relationship with builders and developers. And how I've been able to do that is that, again, I decided to start networking and building relationships. And by building those relationships, now, and keep in mind some of the things I asked, simple as sidewalks, green space, that was not in their plans, was something I would say, hey, can we take another look at what can really profit your community? And because of that, we got sidewalks and we got green space. So it's about building those relationships. And I do believe that builders want to be a part of the equation on affordable housing.
Fran Bush, candidate for mayor of Nashville. Our conversation will continue, and this week will continue when we come back. Welcome back to This Week and our conversation with Nashville mayoral candidate Fran Bush. As a member of the school board, you know probably more than others the new state funding formula for metro schools. It's actually receiving less money because the money now goes to the students, and if the student leaves the system, the money goes with the student. How, as mayor, do you make up for that lost revenue so that the metro school, a majority school system remains viable and attractive for people to come to Nashville?
Absolutely. We want to build more strength in our public school system. Right now, we're still about that 40-ish as far as at the bottom, and that's not where we want to be. We have wonderful schools here. We have amazing teachers. We have amazing staff. What we have to do is concentrate more on making sure that the system is working for the children. And right now we've seen literacy, right? Literacy is down. We have students that are not really reading on grade level. So that's been a big controversy. My goal is if I become your next mayor, I want to be able to make those type of connections back into the metro school system and be able to bring more support and opportunities for our students to really see the value and our parents to see the value in our education system. I think that what's happening right now also is that we have to make sure that we're very inclusive when it comes to parents, teachers, the administration, and I think everybody kind of is a little bit separate on a lot of things because they just don't know. And I want to bring more inclusion into that. I want to make sure that the communication and transparency is there, because I think if we make everybody a part of the equation, it's going to be a much better outcome.
Metro Police Chief John Drake has a big job in front of him, and I think he's doing a really good job in this city. But crime is increasing. We're having a lot of violence, guns with young kids, with teenagers, guns stolen from cars, downtown assaults. What do you say to Chief Drake as the new mayor of Nashville to help him continue to try to reduce crime so Nashville remains a safe city? It has to be safe for it to succeed. Absolutely.
And right now we're down maybe up to 400 or 500 officers right now. And the goal, as to your point, we have young people from the ages of 14 and 26 years old that are committing these crimes. And what I would like to do if I become your next mayor, I have a plan. I have a plan to help Chief Drake out, because I know if we can take away some of that crime amongst that age group, then our police staff can concentrate on other sectors that we need them to concentrate on. And by doing so, I want to invest more into our nonprofit organizations. They're boots on the ground. They understand our children. They understand the needs. But the problem is that they cannot expand their programs because they just don't have the funding. So if I'm your next mayor, I want to be able to fund those programs and be able to expand the opportunity to touch more students, because if we can get them while they're in middle high school, the less likelihood when they turn 18 years old, we've already established the supports they need so they can be productive citizens in this city and in this country.
Thoughts on the stadium deal? It's going to relieve some taxpayer burden, but some tax dollars are also going to be used to build a new stadium, and we may have Major League Baseball in 5 or 10 years. They may be wanting a stadium. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I will say before this deal, I would have taxpayer dollars would have been completely off the table. That's just kind of how I feel. You know, we had a 34% hike before COVID, and that was really a strain on a lot of us. So that would have not been in my equation. Moving forward, it has been approved. There are some big things that are going to come out of this, and I do believe that. But there's a lot of things that I want Nashvillians to be able to utilize in this big project that we're doing. And that's one of the things that I just feel very, very you know, I'm very passionate about our city I'm passionate about our tourists and our tourist dollars and things like that, absolutely. But we have to make sure that the citizens of Nashville feel like that they're inclusive, because their voices, and you heard on both sides, those who were opposed, those who were for it. So we have to make sure that, we're making sure that everybody feels a part of it.
Fran Bush, candidate for mayor, appreciate your time and your insight. Stay with us. This week continues in a moment.